What's up guys, and welcome to my first video of birding on the run.
Already up there I see a vulture. Probably looks like a black vulture flying around.
The idea here is pretty simple. We're just combining two of my current favorite hobbies, running and bird watching.
Oh, there we go. That's an Osprey and it's got a catch right there. Oh, how awesome is that?
If you enjoy either of those activities while discovering new parks and trails, stick around. I've done quite an extensive search of the web and have yet to come across a bird watching experience that takes you along for the run quite like this. Today is July 3rd, 2024, and I'm in Lakeland, Florida at Bonnet Springs Park for an early afternoon run. The plan for the day is an easy 5K jog paired with seeing how many avian friends we can find. Being so hot, I honestly didn't expect to see many birds out at this time, but I'm glad that more than I anticipated still decided to make an appearance.
There's some white ibis.
One reason I love this park is because of the great blend of paved trails, boardwalk, and even a mulch pathway, all of which you'll get to see in this video. It is the perfect spot for nature runs or walks.
Definitely something calling up in the tree over there. I'm gonna pull out the Merlin bird ID. Oh, red shoulder hawk. That's awesome. Oh, there's a red-bellied woodpecker. I heard that one. Well, there you can see Merlin just identified the red-bellied woodpecker. I don't know what this little... If that's a limpkin? Oh no, I think that sound is a common gallinule. You can see them over in the water over there. They're hiding under some shade. There he goes. I just picked up the calming gallinule. Sorry if I don't pronounce the names of these birds correctly. I'm definitely a beginner to this. So, I don't have all of the language down. Alright, let's keep on going. That. It's a great blue heron.
Great blue herons are the largest North American heron, ranging in height between 3 to 5 feet tall with a wingspan up to approximately 6.5 feet. Despite their great size, these birds usually only weigh between 5 to 6 pounds, which is deceivingly light for their height. Here in Florida, these birds are a common sighting year-round, often seen slowly wading through waters looking for food. I once saw a heron trying to swallow a fish that looked way too big for it. After minutes of failed persistence, it finally gave up, but I don't know if the fish was still even alive after that struggle. It was a pretty crazy sighting to come across.
Oh, there's another white ibis.
Often mistaken for a duck, did you know that the University of Miami's mascot is actually a white ibis? When looking at the live mascot, I honestly always thought it was a duck, so I was really surprised to learn about this. Its bill doesn't exactly have the downward curve which ibises are known for, but when you take a look at the artwork and campus statue, it's a bit more apparent and easier to see the resemblance.
grackle. Looks like a grackle. Oh god. Watch where you're going, folks. I almost just completely fell into the marsh. Oh man, that could have been funny. That could have been bad. Oh, I think that might be a tricolor. Oh no. Oh no, that's a hard ID. There's two of them. There we have an anhinga.
I can remember growing up seeing these birds around water edges with their wings outstretched basking in the sun. I didn't understand exactly what they were doing back then and just chalked it up to some weird bird habit. Years later, I've now come to learn that they're actually drying their wings after going for a dive. These birds are skilled swimmers, able to swim subsurface level to depths as far as 60 feet deep, and can stay submerged for approximately a minute or so at a time. To put that into perspective, imagine standing on top of a 6-story building, and that's about how far these birds can dive underwater. That's pretty stinking impressive.
Oh, oop, I scared it. There's a lumpkin. Sorry, fella. Didn't mean to frighten you. Catching some shade. Ooh, there's a northern cardinal. There he goes. Well, it's female. There's the red-bellied. I hear it, but I don't see it.
Lumpkins and northern cardinals are two fairly common birds I see while out at this park. With all the shells I always see lining the shore, I believe that there's a good amount of apple snails for the lumpkins to feast on, which is a food staple in their diets. I'd say the northern cardinal is one of the most popular and recognizable birds, even among non-birders. The bright red of the male is super eye-catching and makes it a standout. It's also a fairly common mascot among schools and sports teams, and the state bird of 7 US states.
There's a grackle. I want to say that's a boat-tail grackle. Oh, there's the sound of the common gallinule. I can see an osprey perched up on that tree branch up there. That looks like possibly another anhinga. Could be a cormorant out there spreading its wings, trying to dry off. We're gonna head that way because they also have a trailhead entrance not too far away. There you go. A closer look. That's an anhinga.
Going into this quarter-mile mulch trailway, I was expecting to see a lot more activity than there ended up being. My assumption was that I would find some smaller birds like sparrows or warblers among the trees and bushes that were looking for some shade from the heat. I'm also still learning what kind of birds favor different habitat areas, so my assumption could also have just been wrong based on the area I was running through here. I gotta be honest though, my bird ID skills for those little birds is still a work in progress. They can sometimes move so fast and jumpy that it can be hard to get a good sight on them, and even more so when you're running. However, the only way I figured that I'll get better is by exposure and practice, so I was hoping to come across a few, but I guess that just wasn't for this day, at least not in this neck of the woods.
I hear some birds in here. Blue jays. That's 1 and 2. Those things are loud birds. I want to say that's probably a mockingbird. I hear it, don't see it, hiding somewhere in the tree. Ah, there it is, up top. I think that's its red-bellied woodpecker call. How crazy is that? Alright, let's keep going. Here's another mockingbird. We're gonna cut down here. There it goes. Try to make ourselves our way to the tree canopy. Alright, we got 1 more mile left.
So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this whole idea of birding on the run came quite naturally as a combination of 2 hobbies of mine. A crazy coincidence is that both of these started almost exactly a year ago from today. On July 1st, 2023, this park hosted a bird tour event out on their boardwalk that I decided to take my son out to. Before this day, I never cared to pay any attention to the birds around me, but figured this free event could be something for us to do together. A volunteer who I believe was named Heather showed a natural enthusiasm for bird watching and teaching me and my kiddo all about it. She was pointing out birds left and right, picking out their calls by ear, and explaining fast facts about them I never knew. She introduced me to the Merlin Bird ID app and their Sound ID feature, which struck me as a rather impressive piece of software which I had seen nothing like before in my life. Before that day, I hardly recognized the distinction between different bird calls, and honestly in my ignorance, they all sounded the same to me. After that day, I all of a sudden wanted to learn so much more about birds, and she showed me just how easy it could be with an app like Merlin Bird ID and simply being aware of your surroundings. On July 5th, 2023, I decided to start running in preparation for an upcoming 5K I agreed to run. That slowly evolved into an enjoyable pastime and way to get some exercise, which then morphed into a way to physically challenge myself and see how well I could progress in the sport of running. Throughout this last year, I've now become keenly aware of the many birds around me whenever I go out for a run, and I began to think to myself that surely I'm not the only person out there that does this. A quick search of the web revealed that run birding is in fact a thing. However, I couldn't find much more than a few blog post articles and a Reddit thread diving into this combo hobby. A search for a hint of any video media around run birding came up dry, leading me to 2 conclusions. Either 1, no videos have been made because nobody actually cares about run birding, or 2, this is just an area of birding that many participate in but fail to capture on film. If reason number 2 is the case, then maybe this could be the perfect opportunity for me to keep my easy runs easy while appreciating God's creation around me and getting to share it with others through video along the way. If birding on the run is something that you do for fun, I'd love to hear your experiences with it in the comments down below. This is definitely a beginning stage idea, but I'd be curious to know what you guys think about me capturing these birding runs. So here we are, 1 year later, and it only seemed right that my first video run birding be at the park that started it all. Big thanks goes out to the volunteer who gave me a new lifelong appreciation for the nature and wildlife around me.
Alright. So, we ended up doing a little bit over a 5K. That was a hot run, but we saw a good amount of birds. So let's see how it comes together. Thanks you all for joining me. I'll see you next time.